Good evening. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Education Committee of the Board of School Directors meeting March 9th, 2022. We have a full agenda, and for those who may not have access to it readily, it includes call to order, salute to the flag, roll call, motion for action, student service update, academic services, spring assessment, discussion, and adjournment. Without further ado, this meeting has been called to order, and we will salute the flag.
Give me one moment, getting it up now.
No worries. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to its republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Okay. Ms. Hoff,
Yes.
Mr. Wright is absent. He has another commitment. Ms. Richardson,
I'm here.
Mr. Tong,
Present.
Mr. Callahan,
Here.
Ms. Ivory,
Present.
Ms. Cook Henry,
Present.
Ms. Hopkins,
Present.
and Ms. Boykins.
Present.
Okay. 8 board members are present with 1 absent.
Thank you, Ms. Shako. Next is our motion for action. At this point, we will be talking about the revised health and safety plan. Dr. B. Goetz and Danielle Seward will be providing this information.
Good evening, everyone. I believe what you have in your presentation on slide 3 is the header for this item. Thank you. I don't see that okay, thank you very much. Now that I see it, I will continue. The next slide, slide 4, basically gives you some updated information. As most of you will recall, we at our last meeting indicated that we would take action on our health and safety plan, specifically dealing with masking. And so why don't I just share my screen, because I'm not seeing it showing. And so I will share my screen to ensure that that this is moving appropriately. So that's what we will do. Does everyone see my screen? Can someone give me a thumbs up, please? Thank you. So I'm pleased to share with everyone that we have had no COVID-19 positive cases since February the 25th. And we have had no positive COVID-19 cases reported in the month of March. So I think that is definitely some good news as it relates to COVID-19. Also want to share with you, this is the information for where we are as a county. And we are in low transmission right now. So I think that's a very positive sign. And when we look at the number of cases, it's 205 over the last 7 days. The case per 100,000 is 36.17. The percent positivity is 2.93. If I'm not mistaken, that may be the lowest positivity that we have experienced during the pandemic. There are currently 12 deaths and almost 78%, and I'm going to say 78% because I do round up, percent of the population 5 years or greater are fully vaccinated. And as far as new admissions of confirmed COVID-19 cases among county residents, it's estimated to be at approximately 44 individuals. So given this information, we have revised our health and safety plan to reflect a proposed date of mask being optional of August the 4th. And I'm just scrolling through the health and safety plan. That is the only update that we will make to this plan. And you will see that right here where I'm just going to highlight effective August 4th, 2022. Given the current levels, we are recommending that the mask be optional. It does not mean that if you want to wear masks, you can do so, but our policy or protocol will be that masks are optional. Madam Chair, I'm going to turn it back over to you for discussion. I believe also enclosed or the second page of our agenda is the actual motion, and I can bring that up if you would like for me to do so. I think you're muted.
I have it, and thank you, Dr. Biko.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No worries. Thank you. At this point, I am going to read the motion for action, and then the motion. We will have discussion and questions thereafter. Motion for action. Section 1, 2001 of the American Rescue Plan Act requires each local agency that receives funding under the ARP, Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief, ESSER, fund to develop and make publicly available on the LEA's website a safe return to in-person instruction and continuity of service plan, hereinafter referred to as a health and safety plan. Each LEA must create a health and safety plan that addresses how it will maintain the health and safety of students, educators, and other staff, and which will serve as local guidelines for all instructional and non-instructional school activities during the period of the LEA's ARP ESSER grant. The health and safety plan should be tailored to the unique needs of each LEA and its school, and must take into account public comment related to the development of and subsequent revisions to the health and safety plan. The health and safety plan has been updated to reflect the updated masking guidance from CDC, which was released on February the 25th, 2022. And the motion is to approve the district's revised health and safety plan for the 2020-21 through 2022 school year as described above. Further effective Monday, April 4th, 2022, wearing facial masks will be optional in all school district buildings. In the event Delaware County returns to high COVID-19 community levels and or COVID-19 related cases rise within a district, the administration has the ability to reinstate universal masking as a mitigation effort. Are there questions or concerns first to our board members?
So I'll simply state my position and then leave it to the others to discuss. I have not revised the borough's mask policy yet. So it's still in effect in the municipal office. Therefore, I will be voting no simply because it'd be hypocritical of me to revise the district's policy, but not revise my own policy within the borough administration yet. So that's where I am at. I understand both sides of the issue, and obviously everybody's free to vote their conscience. But as far as that's the position that I'm in, and that's the position I'll be taking tonight.
Thank you. Joy Hopkins.
Madam Chair, just for clarity, are we going to stick to 3-minute public comment so that as the Vice President, I can keep clock?
Thank you very much. Yes, we will.
Thank you.
Ms. Hoff.
Thank you. I was wondering if we are considering remasking after spring break, like Philadelphia is, due to many communities getting together.
That is not part of the current motion.
Is it something we should consider as a separate motion or at a later date?
I think that would be up to the board.
I just would like to ask, why will we consider that when, if we are paying attention to the data, the numbers are going down? So if we come back from spring break and we still see the numbers are still in a decline, what is the use to, we're paying attention to the data provided. So I don't think that needs to be revisited at this time.
I would add, I apologize. I would add that we have the opportunity to address that here in the event Delaware County returns to high COVID-19 community levels and/or COVID-19 related cases rise within a district. The administration has the ability to reinstate universal masking.
So is high 10? I don't recall.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Ms. Hoff. High is designated by the CDC. Ms. Seward, do you remember what the number is for high? I just don't remember it off the top of my head.
I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's something that we monitor daily.
Right.
So I would have to research that one to see exactly what is the threshold for high.
I guess my point is that maybe there's somewheres in between it raising and high before we get to high. Maybe if we got to medium and then we took action, it might be, I think high is 8. That would be considerable, growth in that time if we waited just till high.
So what we can do is, Ms. Seward, if you can, or Dr. B. Coates, if once we find a threshold, you will notify us if we are approaching the threshold of the mid-range, and then we will have a further discussion as a board, and we'll come together and figure out what's next, the next steps, with the support of Dr. B. Coates.
That works.
And I've made a note of that. Thank you.
I would like to know if there are going to be any recommendations to parents before the kids come back from the spring break that they have their COVID testing done. I know we can't mandate it, but are there any recommendations to tell them that they should have COVID testing done on their children before they return?
There will be a message that I'll provide to our community prior to the spring break. Similar to what we've done, I believe, during the winter break. We did share information about, making some suggestions in terms of what people should consider while they are on break. We also have the ability to administer COVID tests upon the return of not only students, but staff as well from spring break.
Can I ask if maybe, since even though we have the ability to test, could we maybe include that parents could actually request the free testing, since they did reinstate that there's another wave that they can order the test themselves to complete at home as well?
Sure. Yep, we'll do that.
Thank you.
Jennifer, is your hand still raised?
Oh, no, I'm so sorry. No.
Okay, thank you.
Speaking of what my dear has stated, that they do the free testing at home, are we gonna ask for results or just to let the parents do that themselves and follow through?
That would be something that the families would do themselves. We are going to provide probably the same recommendations that we did before. If you are sick, please stay home. Obviously, if you test positive, you need to also stay home and follow the necessary guidelines. So we will make sure that we have a communication that is provided to our families, and we also will have something posted on our website.
Thank you.
Sure.
Are there questions that I don't see or comments from our guest? Our parents are.
Yes, ma'am, there's a, Madam Chair, there's a question in the chat from Nikki Cohen. Can you see that? Or would you like me to read it?
Would you please?
Can there be a further discussion about masking being mandatory the week following spring break? There is concern for a spike with those traveling, as well as families gathering for holidays during the break.
As was, that is not currently part of this motion. Are there other questions or concerns that I'm missing?
I do not see any.
Madam Chair, in the question and answer, there's Jamar Cook. His signal is bad. He missed it. Will the mask be optional?
And the answer to that is that's part of the motion. The masking will be optional, effective April 4th, 2022.
Apparently, there's no other question.
I just have one more question. This is for Dr. Coates and Ms. Seward. Will masks be provided for those families that opt to still wear masks? Will we be providing masks for them if they wish to continue wearing masks?
We do have a supply. And so that's something that we can make available. So yes.
Thank you.
I have one more question. I'm sorry. So in the motion, it says within the buildings, what would the policy still be on the buses?
We would be following the CDC guidelines, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and Ms. Stewart, correct me if I'm wrong, they are not required to wear masks on buses.
That is correct.
Thank you.
That is correct.
Madam Chair, you have two questions, one from Jennifer Plum. Her question is, can the date be pushed back until after spring break?
The motion this evening is for Monday, April the 4th, 2022, at which time, if there is a rise in cases within the district, we will revisit the universal masking efforts for mitigation purposes.
Your next question, why will it take so long to change here? A month, I don't know what that means.
I think the question is asking, why are we taking so long to make the change?
Got it.
An additional month from, almost a month from today's date. That's the way I read that, Ms. Hopkins.
Thank you, sir.
Well, it kind of, just to add on to that, it makes sense. I think that we're making the right decision by giving it a month out, because if you think about it, a lot of people started around March 7th. Some even started a little bit before then. So we're not addressing it with the masses right now. So basically, we're actually, testing it out, seeing, everyone else they have released their mask mandate around March 7th. So we're the ones that's going to be still masked up for a month. So that'll give us another opportunity to be able to look at the data to see what's going on. So if that gives you any, insight to the month push. And Dr. B. Coates may have some other reasoning behind that as well.
No, I agree with you, Ms. Boykins. I think that will provide us with some additional time to observe and see what's happening with the data.
And from a board perspective, as a board member looking at both sides of this equation, and some people wanting to extend and some people looking at the desire to remove masks sooner, we are trying to be respectful of both sides of this concern.
I also think luckily we have a meeting, a scheduled voting meeting March 28th. And if the numbers were going in the wrong direction in that next, 2.5 weeks, we would see something. Right?
And see something, you say something.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
So the motion is to approve the district's revised health and safety plan for the 2021-22 school year as described above, further effective Monday, April 4th, 2022. Wearing facial masks will be optional in all school district buildings in the event Delaware County returns to high COVID-19 community levels and/or COVID-19 related cases rise within the district. The administration has the ability to reinstate universal masking as a mitigation effort. A second is required.
Second.
The vote at this time. Ms. Shako?
Do you like a roll call vote?
Yes, please.
Okay, Ms. Hoff?
Yes.
Yes or no would be the answer, okay? Ms. Hoff?
Yes.
Ms. Richardson?
Yes.
Mr. Tong?
Yes.
Mr. Callahan?
No.
Ms. Ivory?
Yes.
Ms. Cook Henry?
Yes.
Ms. Hopkins?
Yes.
Ms. Boykins?
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes 7 to 1 to 1 absent. 7 yeses, 1 no, 1 absent. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for your participation in that discussion. And we will be mindful and keep you abreast of any changes that we make within the district according to what we just voted on. Next on our agenda is student services update, and I will turn it over to Ms. Seward.
Good evening, everybody. Oh, I'm sorry. I
Is
thought
this-
somebody was saying something.
No, I think it's academic services.
I have student services
No,
as
it's student
required.
services,
Mhm.
Okay.
followed by academic services. Thank you. Ms. Seward, you're sharing your screen?
I am.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Alrighty, can I get a thumbs up if you can see my screen? Great, awesome. All righty, so thank you for this opportunity to share our progress as a department this evening. I truly do appreciate the opportunity to share all that we have been doing this year. This is just an overview of our department and some of the key functions and the staff that do various functions within student services. I have with me tonight, because you see me all the time and hear from me all the time, but I really wanted to have the staff who do this work and who are representing their different departments tonight to be able to share with you some points of pride. That's what we call them in our department, points of pride about the work that they are doing and their colleagues are doing. And so with that, it is my honor to turn this over to our lead nurse for the school district, Ms. Susan Spasseth, who will be talking about the work of the school nurses. Ms. Spasseth?
Good evening, everyone. We are fortunate that we are fully staffed with nurses in all 11 buildings, although we have had to use 4 agency nurses throughout this school year. But all students have had their preliminary vision screening through the Eagle's Eye Vision Van. I don't know how many free pairs of glasses we've distributed throughout the district, but I do know at Green Avenue, after the preliminary visit, there are going to be over 400 students going to be seen by the eye doctor, and potentially, if needed, they will get eyeglasses. So that's very exciting. All of our certified school nurses this year, and it started last year, we are mentoring with Delaware County Community College student nurses 2 mornings a week to teach them and show them the duties and responsibilities of school nursing, and hopefully get somebody excited that they may want to be a school nurse someday. In our district, the school nurses have completed over 2,100 state mandated health screenings. That's height, weight, vision, and hearing for those grades that require them. And going with the COVID, we've performed over 1,600 rapid antigen tests on our students and staffs. We've managed 347 COVID positive cases this school year within the district that impacted over 1,500 individuals who were confirmed positive or were close contacts to the positives. And of course, we always are reviewing the immunization statuses for all of our kindergarten students and all of our students. And this year, the kindergarten students, there are less than 5 that are non-compliant with their immunizations, and we continue to follow up with them. So that's all I have. I'm going to pass this on to Ms. Botang, the counselor at Walnut Street.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ms. Botang, school counselor at Walnut Street Elementary. I am pleased to represent my fellow 13 school counselors within the district tonight. I just wanted to share a little bit about what we do. So here's a brief overview. Penwood Middle School has conducted over 1,150 individual counseling sessions so far this year. They have a girls group which meets every Monday and Friday where they discuss various topics such as anxiety, peer pressure, and self-esteem. Colwyn has conducted 112 individual sessions, 50 total small group sessions, and 42 whole group sessions so far this year. Next, we have Bell Avenue. They have conducted over 730 individual counseling sessions addressing issues such as emotional regulation, conflict resolution, and de-escalation. East Lansdowne has conducted over 320 classroom SEL lessons, 44 group counseling sessions, 18 weekly individual sessions, and over 150 student check-ins. Next, we have Penwood High School, and they are currently conducting 20 student counseling sessions per day and 35 individual student check-ins every Friday. Last but not least, we have Walnut. I have responded to about 500 individual student counseling needs, such as crisis interventions, de-escalations, behavior management, student check-ins. I've also coordinated services with CYS, BHRS support services. I have conducted over 10 suicide assessments. I conduct classroom lessons, individuals, and group sessions as well. So as you can see, our main goal as counselors are to advocate for our students and work with the parents and community to assure the student success. We do this work in coordination with our social workers. So I am going to now pass it over to Nicole Hallman.
Thank you, Letitia. And Ms. Hopkins, I wanted to wish you and any other social workers on this meeting a happy Social Workers Month. As you can see, we have 2 social workers in the district, Marissa and myself. And over this past year, I've completed 197 student attendance intervention plans with another 48 already scheduled for this month. And as of August 2021, PD added a school social work certification to their list, which I have received in addition to my home and school certification. Cradles to Crayons has been wonderful to us. Once again, they've donated a total of about 1,000 book bags with school supplies to us this school year, which have been distributed to the various buildings. We assisted the nurses in the fall and the winter with the Eagles Vision Van. And Marissa and I also help our homeless families with coordinating transportation and supplying uniforms for our elementary and middle school students. As the district suicide prevention coordinator, I've received 41 suicide youth screenings so far this year and 22 threat incident reports from within the whole entire district. And we as social workers, which we're celebrating our month, work closely with the school counselors on issues around the abuse and the suicidal ideations, but as well, we also consult and work with our SSOs. So I'd like to pass this on to Gary, who will be speaking about the school safety officers for William Penn.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Gary Ricards. I'm the supervisor of all school safety officers. I'd like to give you a little brief description of myself. I've worked with the district for 10 plus years. I'm 30 years in the community, and I have a strong passion for security, for the safety of our children. I have also our SSOs. They have worked closely with our local police departments on all current events that are happening in their particular boroughs, and they communicate with the staff and principals as well. I've worked with the borough chiefs and building a relationship between the local PD and our SSOs and the staff and students by visiting and interacting with our staff and students on a daily. I've also researched companies that directly work with school districts on enhancing performance on emergency equipment, such as our radio communications, our surveillance systems, and in doing that, I developed, I developed a relationship with a grant specialist that works directly with schools and obtaining the grants that are obtained by the states. I'd like to give a brief description of the 25 SSOs that are employed with our school district and some of their certifications. First, they cover 4,800 students and make sure maintaining their safety for the district. They cover 12 buildings. Our SSOs have all been certified in our CPR, our AED certifications, our customer service, our de-escalation, and also developing a relationship with our students and staff and the community as well. And pushing forward, I would like for them to be more obtainable and open to our students that are having a lot of problems, which they do on a regular. And at this time, I would like to take the opportunity to introduce Mr. Dana Keefe, our truancy and residence investigator.
Good evening, everyone. How you doing? My name is Dana Keefe. I'm the registration investigator specialist for the William Penn School District. When I took on this position about 16 months ago, I had a vision and a mission, what I wanted to do. I wanted to have a collaborative effort with everybody involved, with the community involved, and obviously with the administration and social workers in creating a plan to have a more efficient way of recognizing residency issues and truancy issues. So with that being said, I wanted to be a visible deterrent at the same time, being a support person for the truancy, not necessarily being a punishment, but as accountability. So with that being said, we have had truancy court, and I've been mentoring and adhering to the students' needs and wants, needs that need to be done to help them succeed. In addition, I've been fortunate and been out in the community to help these young students with any kind of textbooks or any kind of notebooks or computer technology that they may need because they were home sick and shuttered due to COVID. In addition, I have been added support to the high school over Green Avenue campus as a student and climate management, and in an effort to help maintain the truancy that may get out of hand in the school district. That's my main goal obviously, is to support each and every one. Also, in addition to the truancy, I've collaborated with the student improvement plans with the social workers in an effort to streamline and have the data accurate for our school district to monitor. So with that being said, that's the work I've been doing. I'm excited to be here. I want to continue to move forward with this and implement my vision so everyone can be involved in the community. So with that being said, I'd like to pass on to Ms. Daniel Seward.
Thank you, Mr. Keith. Ms. Nash and Danielle White and Teresa Overton were not available this evening, so it is my honor to brag a little bit about the work that they've been doing in the student registration department. This year, the department took on the role of re-engineering registration procedures to streamline them and to make the process a little bit easier and more transparent for our community. One of the improvements you'll notice on our website is a school finder tool where the families can put in their address now and see what school aligns to their address, what elementary school aligns to their address. This has been launched for our 2022-2023 school registration year. This year, the staff of 3 managed over 600 school registration applications, which is amazing. They've also worked to verify the residency of non-district students who live within the district but are requesting transportation services, which do run through our district. So they also do that work as well. They've also assisted us with gathering data for a civil rights collection report, which is instrumental and very important for our federal subsidies that we receive from the federal government. They also provide e-school support to all schools. That means anybody who needs help with navigating through e-school, pulling data through e-school, or just needs some help troubleshooting, navigating the system, they provide that support as well. This team of 3 also does student data management and state reporting. So as a team, but under the leadership of Ms. Nash, who is our data systems facilitator, they provide support to new systems that we have been implementing in the district that require connection to eSchool in order to use the data in eSchool to enhance the productivity and operations of new systems. They also provide support to principals and leadership around data mining and gathering for attendance and disciplinary information to help with decision-making in the buildings. They also worked with the counselors at the secondary level to support the development and building of schedules for students. They also do the data reporting for PIMS, which is all year round. Every month, there are various reports that are required to be reported to the state. And last but not least, they also help to develop reports that keep us compliant with other entities under the PA Department of Education, such as Safe Schools, PASA, different reports that are required of us. So there are additional services that we provide. some of which are also supporting our students who are experiencing homelessness. So far, we have identified 46 students year to date. We collect the data for the students and ensure that we are reporting this data accurately. We also work with the social workers, as Ms. Heileman said earlier, on providing supports to eliminate barriers to education for children who are experiencing a difficult time in their lives through homelessness. We also help to support families who have chosen to do homeschooling. Currently, we have 59 students who are being homeschooled, and we support their families with making sure they have the proper documentation and monitoring that is dictated by the PA Department of Education. We also provide them with support with accessing additional extracurricular activities and standardized testing. Last but not least, I'm the liaison for foster care for our school district. So I work very closely with Children and Youth Services and other districts on what we call BIDs, which is Best Interest Determination Meetings, where we discuss what is in the best interest of a child who has been removed from the home or moved to a different home, to make sure that we are keeping the child stabilized in their school environment and supporting them in eliminating any barriers to successful education. So with that, I would like to say thank you so much to my colleagues and my team for representing your departments and for all of your hard work. I appreciate this opportunity to share with you. And with that, I'll just open it up for questions.
I guess I can lower my hand. I don't have a question. I actually have a comment. I just want to say thank you to you and the team. I am so excited. I'm proud. I just wanted to hear, actually it was me who requested for you all to make this presentation.
Thank you.
And you all did very well. I knew you guys were doing, exceptional work, but I wanted it to be presented before our district to let them know, especially the social workers. I don't care about anybody else, but the social workers I know is a bomb. But anyway, but I just wanted, in sincerity, I just wanted everyone to know in our district what an awesome job. And those numbers are saying, exactly what I thought, but not what I know. And now I know the great work that you guys are doing, and I'm proud of you all. I thank you all for your hard work and your dedication, because I know it's not hard being a social worker. I know it's not hard, and it's not easy rather. And I appreciate you all. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Are there any other comments or questions from the board? Are any hands raised?
I just want to say again, the sentiments of joy. I appreciate everyone that joined us this evening, and I'm so excited to see that we're on the right track. It looks like there's a great team that's being developed to ensure that all of the students are receiving all the help, that they need. And just kudos to all of you. Thank you.
Ditto. I'm very excited about the work that's being done and the reports that have been shared, and the services that our students are receiving and our families are receiving. Congratulations and thank you, and keep doing a fantastic job. We will move on to 6, academic services. Ms. Brown.
Good evening. Mr. Dunn will be presenting for us this evening.
Good evening, everybody. Tonight, we're going to be talking about state assessments. And so we'll be going over some information in terms of how state assessments work in Pennsylvania and how that impacts us as a district. So let's start off with the state assessment policy. The reason why state assessments occur in the first place is because of federal accountability requirements in line with the ESSA framework. And so it requires testing of grades 3 through 8, as well as students in high school, at least once in high school, particularly around mathematics, reading, and science. So in terms of the district, one of the things that we're responsible for in terms of administering this test is ensuring student participation. And so how the district measures that is through PIMS, which is the Pennsylvania Information Management System. And that's how they verify that how many students we have and cross-references that with the amount of assessments that we submit to them. So in terms of the test alignment, it's pretty straightforward. So the tests are aligned based on grade and or content. So third grade students take the third grade assessment, so forth and so on, all the way up to our Keystone exam. And so how the split between PSSA and Keystone, students 3 through 8 take the PSSA. In math and reading, they also take the PSSA for science in 4th and 8th grade. However, the Keystone exams are administered based on specific content classes, which we call trigger courses. And we'll talk a little bit about that later. Just like I previously mentioned, the PSSA is the Pennsylvania System of Schools assessment, and it provides stakeholders with the understanding of student and school performance related to the attainment of proficiency and of the academic standards. So students are assessed on what is called eligible content for grades, like I said, 3 through 8 in math and ELA, as well as 4 and 8 in science. So in terms of how the data is used, we use the individual student scores to help support, interventions and monitoring for our individual students. We utilize school scores to make larger determinations about where schools are and what additional supports that they need in terms of monitoring curriculum and instruction. And additionally, PDE provides an analysis of score growth that can be attributed to both schools and teachers. So why that's important is we measure not only overall achievement, how well students did and what categories they fall in, but also we are also measured by how we grow students. So there are 2 levels of this measurement, and that applies to PSSA as well as Keystone. Getting into some more of the specifics of Keystone, originally, if you guys remember, maybe not originally, but in the past, the PSSAs happened in grade 11. So there was a math and a ELA test, and it would be an assessment of all of the high school content to that point. So the recent years that has been replaced by Keystones, and those Keystones are now, instead of that holistic assessment, end of course assessments designed around specific content areas. And so those are Algebra 1, literature, and biology. And typically in our district, students take Algebra 1 in the 9th grade, and they'll take literature and biology in the 10th grade. Keystones are also tied to graduation requirements, and I know that the board has been informed and had several conversations about this already. But just as a quick reminder, effective with the graduating class of 2023, students had the option to demonstrate post-secondary preparedness through one of 4 additional pathways that more fully illustrate college, career, and community readiness. And one of those pathways includes being able to pass the Keystones either outright or through what we call a composite score as an accumulation of the 3 tests added together. All right, there's additional information here. So originally, this graduation requirement was earlier, but it has been postponed. Additionally, any student who was supposed to take the Keystones last year, meaning the first-time test takers, are determined to be proficient on that Keystone if they pass the course. So to more specifically explain how that will work, because of COVID and the nature of the testing and being able to not normalize that across years, essentially a student, for example, that was in Algebra 1, they don't necessarily have to pass the Keystone last year. They will get credit for passing the Keystone as long as they pass the course. and that's in alignment with school code section 121. All right, now I'm gonna pass it to my colleague, Gina Germana, who's gonna talk about PASA and access.
Hello, everyone. Like Mr. Dunn said, my name is Gina Germana, and I am the K through 12 special education supervisor for the district. And I'm going to talk about a couple additional assessments, Pennsylvania assessments for other populations of students. So the first, we have the PASA, which is the Pennsylvania Alternate System of Assessment. And this assessment is given to students who have the most significant cognitive disabilities. There are 6 criteria for those students that they have to meet in order to be eligible to take the PASA. And that is specifically for students in grades 3 through 8 and 11. Participation in the PASA is an IEP team decision. But again, you must say yes to all 6 criteria. And there's a link to the eligibility criteria here at the bottom of the page. But the most significant for me as a special educator is that students who are expected to require intensive and ongoing agency support after graduation, those are typically students that we see taking the PASA. Our assessment window for the PASA is about to begin. It starts March 14th and it goes through May 20th. That is a very long assessment window because the assessments are given individually, one student at a time. And our staff strategically schedule those assessments with their students and work together to make successful scheduling. And as you can see on the slide, we have 4 schools participating in the PASA this year: Alden, Ardmore, Penwood Middle School, and Penwood High School. Next is our access assessment for English language learners. Access stands for Accessing Comprehension and Communication in English State to State for English language learners. The access assessment is a summative assessment that assesses social and academic English language development in the 4 language domains of listening, reading, writing, and speaking. It is administered annually to students in kindergarten through grade 12 who have been identified as English language learners. And it is given annually, like I said, to monitor progress, classification, and accountability as all state assessments. And we just finished up the testing window for this school year. We'll let you go on, but thank you.
All right, so this is just a quick recap of the schedule for some of those testing that we just mentioned. As Gina alluded to, the access test is already completed. So the only 3 that are remaining are PSSA testing, which happens starting at the last week of April into May. Keystones start shortly thereafter in mid to end of May, while PASA has a much larger window and it runs from March 14th all the way through the end of May. What we have done on the district level is drill down specific dates where schools will be giving these assessments, and that information is available in a link entitled WPSD Spring Assessment Calendar with the specific days. All right, that's all that we have to share in regards to that item. So we can take questions if there are any.
Thank you for sharing that information.
Can you take the share off, please?
Are there questions, comments? My comments are thank you for those details and the links that we can pay more attention to when those assessments are and learn more about how those dates and times students are taken the assessment. Are there other questions or concerns related to discussions before we adjourn? Am I missing any hands? There is
No,
some.
ma'am.
I don't see any.
Thank you for your participation this evening. Thank you, admin, for such a great, informative meeting. And everyone have a safe rest of the evening. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.